If captivating tales of love, betrayal, and startling revelations are your cup of tea, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button and become part of our storytelling community. Let's dive into the narrative. The moment the door slammed shut behind him, I realized that I had dismantled everything. The ensuing silence was far from calming. It reverberated with the realization that I had demolished years of hard work. My name is Tessa, and I single-handedly shattered my marriage in a moment of foolish, thoughtless selfishness. Now I'm waging a fierce battle to win back Noah. We had been a couple for 8 years, married for 5. Noah wasn't flawless, no one is, but he was loyal, kind, and extraordinarily patient. He would lend an ear when I needed to talk, embrace me when tears fell, and prepare my morning coffee, even on days he had to rise early for work. I knew his love was deep, and somewhere within me, my love for him resided as well. Unfortunately, I had forgotten the extent of my love until it was too late. It all began with a minor disagreement, the type that lurks beneath the surface until it finally erupts. She cancelled our date night again, citing a late shift at the hospital. Although I understood that emergencies don't adhere to a schedule, that night I couldn't help but take it personally. Despite having spent the day preparing for our evening together by trying on multiple outfits and cooking his favourite pasta, I felt hurt when he called to cancel. I reacted by hanging up on him, ignoring his texts, and seeking solace in a glass of wine. Eventually, my friend Chloe invited me to join her and her colleagues at a new bar downtown, and, against better judgment, I decided to go. At the bar, I struggled to put on a happy face, indulging in dancing with strangers, excessive drinking, and exaggerated laughter. Chloe's friend Marcus arrived, and his charm and persistent attention played into my vulnerable state at that moment. I found myself reciprocating his flirtation, allowing him to buy me drinks, and not resisting when he offered his comfort. Before Chloe left, One day, I found myself inexplicably staying over at Marcus's place, despite not understanding the reason behind my decision. It wasn't out of love or even desire. Rather, it stemmed from feelings of anger, bitterness, and a need to feel wanted after feeling discarded. I vividly recall standing in his hallway, his hand resting on my waist, his lips brushing against my neck, and in that fleeting moment, Noah's face flashed in my mind. I remembered Noah's gaze on our wedding day, the emotion in his voice as he recited his vows, yet I did not halt my actions. I yielded to Marcus that night, only to wake up the next morning in a bed belonging to a stranger, plagued by a heavy sense of regret and aching guilt. Departing silently, I sat in my car, consumed by overwhelming sorrow and an intense desire to turn back time. As I drove home, I fervently hoped that Noah would still be asleep, dreading the inevitable devastation in his gaze once he discovered the truth. However, my wish was not granted, and upon my arrival, I found him in the kitchen, wearing his work attire, sipping on the coffee he had prepared for me. His appearance reflected exhaustion, yet there was an underlying calmness about him. I realized that I was on the brink of destroying him, and with a heavy heart, I proceeded to do so. I didn't inform him that day or the following. I went through the motions, prepared dinner, gave him a goodnight kiss, and acted as if nothing had happened. However, deep down, I was decaying. The guilt overwhelmed me whenever I touched him. Sleep evaded me, and I lost 10 pounds in just 2 weeks. I felt like a mere shell of myself. And then, he discovered the truth. I am unsure whether Marcus disclosed it to someone or if Chloe pieced it together, but somehow Noah received a message. An anonymous Instagram account sent him a photo of Marcus and me kissing at the bar. The image was all it took to shatter everything. He didn't shout or throw things. He simply stood there, phone in hand, gazing at me as if I were a stranger. "Tessa," he muttered softly, "is this real?" Unable to obscure the truth, I nodded. He left without saying a word. For days he ignored my calls and messages. I wept until I could weep no more. In a voicemail, I bared everything, pleading for him to talk to me. I confessed that it was meaningless, that I despised myself, that I still loved him, and that I would do anything. After a week, I received a reply. "I need time," he wrote. "Don't contact me for now." I respected that and didn't message him again. Instead, I started seeing a therapist and wrote him daily letters, even though I never sent them. I wanted him to see that I wasn't just sorry, but that I was actively trying to understand why I had betrayed the best man I'd ever known. 3 weeks later, I unexpectedly saw him at our old apartment where he had come to collect some belongings. I didn't expect him to stay, but he did. We engaged in awkward, painful small talk for an hour. Before he left, I broke down and said, "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need you to know that I've never stopped loving you, not for a second." He gazed at me for a long time, then replied, "I believe you, but that doesn't make this easier. Since that night 4 months ago, we are not back together yet, but we are communicating. We've had a few dinners together, he accompanied me to therapy once, and he mentioned missing me. Here you are, there are no guarantees, and I have not earned any. Nevertheless, I refuse to surrender. I will continue to stand up for him, for our relationship, for the marriage I destroyed, and for the man I wronged." Sometimes, losing it all helps you recognize the value of what you once had.